Kano, Drakai of Aether. The Ode, who is he? What's his story? What is he up to? Today we will be delving into off the 3 short stories given to us by LSS. The stories will be linked in the description for you to read for yourself, as these will be a summary on me, not a word for word rendition. Let's get right into it. First story is mainly told from a point of view other than Kano's. We start off in a area within somewhere of Volcor with cauldrons laid out filled with magma. The task of the students using magic or aether manipulation in this story. When we do first see Kano, he is seen by another student handing out pieces of paper. On that piece of paper is an incantation or a chant that is what he found in a tome in the library. Other people are not supposed to be having any assistance. It's supposed to be just pure aether manipulation. The student next to him says, hey, this is considered technically cheating. It's like, hey, do you want to get in or not? The other student grabs it, looks at it, like, I can't even read all this. I'll do my best. We go around. A few students aren't able to control their aether at all. The lava basin either doesn't move. Some people spill it over. A decent amount of people are crying. And then we pan over back to Kano again. He is putting on a magnificent display, to say the least. He is manipulating the aether in the lava to form into a dragon, essentially similar to what he looks like in his young art, because he is around that age during this story. Moving the dragon around the room, bringing it up close to the rafters and back into his basin, just showing off at that point. Then we cut. We don't see Kano again the rest of this short story. We go to the instructor talking to other members of the Drakai Council, talking about how Kano has potential as a wizard. He is highly skilled. There are some skeptics among those in the council, like, somebody that age shouldn't be that strong or powerful. He probably cheated. The instructor states, no, I inspected the basin and the area around it. There were no runes. There was no equipment nearby. The basin was not manipulated in any way. He might found something, but regardless, even if he had like said incantation, he was able to control the lava regardless. So if he was cheating, he is better than I, the instructor, where I could not find it. So we, right off the bat, we already know Kano is very skilled at a young age. He even could read the incantation, whereas other students could. He was able to fully manipulate the aether in the lava. And that was the end of story 1. In story 2, we are in from Kano's point of view right off the bat. He is walking around the palace, from our understanding, doing remedial apprentice wizard things. Like cleaning was some sort of plumbing, basically some water movement. And it allows us to know that Kano can manipulate magic other than fire, even though that seems to be his specialty. The plumbing one is water. He restores it, but in doing so, it sends a chill down his spine with his draconic blood wanting to reject water-based magic, as draconic people are fire-based in all the art. As he's walking around, he hears a big boom and a student is ejected out of a room nearby. He sees that there is smoldering on the clothes and some burn marks on the student's skin. Kano says that that's probably due to a miscalculation or an error in manipulating the aether of their spell and cause the spell to backfire on the student. As he continues down the hallway, we meet up with the inspector from the previous story. He invites Kano to have a chat as they walk through the halls. They're chit-chatting. Kano comes to realize that they're going down some odd hallways, some hallways that are less used, not very popular. And he confronts the instructor, says, what are we doing down here? What do we got going on? As the question is posed, he is jumped by the instructor. The instructor starts sending spells to him with it seems intent to hurt or kill him. Kano is doing the best he can. He's on the defense. Their spells are colliding. And Kano comes up with a thought. It's like, I can alter my spell frequency in a way that when our spells collide again, it should send a concussive blast and send the instructor down, and I should be able to book it. They're sending another spells back and forth. Kano changes the frequency, spells impact, and the instructor hits the ground. Kano stops for a second, says, okay, there's no more stuff. What happened? He's not even yelling or anything. Let me go see what's going on. As he sees, his instructor is pale, sunken, as if he had been dead for a while already. And on just off the glimpse of his eye, he says, like on the last breath of the instructor, a small smoky figure comes out of his mouth. Not quite a shadowy figure, not quite slimy. Something is just odd and black, dark about this coming out of his instructor. And before Kano can try and follow it and see what it's all about, people are rushing down the hallway due to the noise, and Kano is taken into custody. He's told he has to go front the council about what happened, and that is the end of story 2. Kano in custody there. Sorry to interrupt the video at this current moment, but look at this number up here. That's insane. For people watching Kano, if you like Kano, subscribe. Their story takes place right in front of the council. We get right into it. Kano is pleading his case, telling him, like, no, this was self-defense. He invited me to the hallways. We walked down, we were talking, and I asked him why we in these abandoned portions of the palace hallways. That's when he jumped me, started sending attacks. There's back and forth, saying, no, you're just jealous that you weren't able to move up in the ranks as fast as you thought you could, or some other nonsense. And Kano's like, no, I sent a concussive blast by changing the frequency of my spell to send him back, and that blast is what sent him down, and that wispy black creature I was telling you about came out. They're still not quite believing him. They tell him to take him out of the room, and at the last minute, Kano says, no, I can show you the reverberation. Let me show you how it happened. As he's doing so, they're still trying to pull him out of the room. He's not thinking about the strength in which the reverberation is sent out as it hits everybody in the room. A little uproar shows up, but everybody looks to the left, right, to make sure everyone's okay. And there's quite a few members of the council sunken into their chairs, just like the instructor was. Sunken faces, pale skin, that black misty creature is escaping from their mouth. There is a lot going on. Kano is pulled back still, but placed into another room as things are being taken care of in the council chambers. Some time passes. It's still the same day. Kano's in the room, and he hears some commotion a little bit outside the room, sits up a little bit, and to his surprise, individuals coming in, but those individuals being the Emperor himself, his wife, some high members of the council that survived. They begin talking. Kano, the Emperor is talking about, hey, there's some fluctuation in the aether or the flow of magic in Volcor itself. Kano says, yeah, I noticed that. That's kind of what gave me the idea to change my frequency to disrupt the spell, and that's what gave me the idea for it. The Emperor is impressed, as well as his wife, or the Empress, that they present him with the Crucible of Aether, the staff that is his signature weapon, and the title of Drukai of Aether. Drukai is usually given a task, and his task being to just study the flow of the Aether in Volcor, see what's disrupting it, as well as those shadowy whispery creatures that were coming out of people. And that's the end of the 3 short stories. So what we can surmise from Kano's character is that he is very skilled in just the flow of Aether, just being able to feel it, manipulate it, and control it in his spells. He doesn't seem to be as much of as a Loki character as I thought it would be off his adult hero art. He seems to be fairly smug in the art. So if you read the lore on Drukai themselves through Phi's lore or Dromai, you'll know that the Drukai are arrogant, as they think they are higher up than the general populace of those in Volcor. You have to go read the Phi lore for that in regards to the uprising and that, but I think there's a connection between these shadowy figures and the assassination of the Emperor himself. If we take a look at Arachne Marionette's art, the adult art, you can see some eyes within what could be the cape. I'm thinking that those could possibly be those whispery creatures that were trying to infect higher up council members to look at the Emperor himself and allow to hit Arachne to slip through the crack and take out the Emperor himself. The other possibility for these creatures, if not connection to Chaos themselves, could be an underlying thing involving shadow creatures. But my hopes is that these are more connected to shadow beings than they are the Chaos of Agents. They could be both, but I would like to see either Kano himself or a nearby wizard be possessed fully, and we get a shadow-based wizard. But I think there's some sort of connection there. We don't quite get to explore it at the moment as the chase for Arachne is going on, but maybe when the lore expands and we get some instructions from Dromai, we might see some more information on Kano himself and potentially the cause of these disturbances. But that is it for this episode. Moving forward, these will be more involved on the deck list and how to play Kano themselves. I wanted to start with the lore, as lore is often overlooked, but I think is important in regards to how the character and deck should be played, in my opinion. But so stay tuned for those other episodes.